Thanks. Welcome, everybody. I was thinking, it's kind of an interesting venue that we have today, right? We've got all this beautiful garden outside. So the theme, right? Integrating omics data for biological discovery. So it's that link between computational omics data and this garden is sort of a reminder is that what underlies this is a living organism. These are what we're studying, so it's not just the computational, but the biological part of it. And what I'd like to do is just tell you, make sure I get my whole list here, how important computational biology is for BTI, because you look down the list here, I'm going to introduce Faye and his group in a second. We've got them at BTI. We've got Lucas Mueller's group that works in computational biology. So we have Susie and the BCBC, so the BTI Computational Biology Center is a computational program at BTI. Fei Wei Li's work is quite a bit of computational work there. We've got the Gobi project housed at BTI, and I know Kelly Robbins is going to talk later. I think he's one of the speakers today, is also at BTI. And then we have new faculty that are coming to BTI, one later this year and two next year, and there's a really large computational part of their program as well. So I've seen BTI in the period that I've been here basically turn into what is a powerhouse in computational biology. You look around the country and there aren't too many places that have the kind of computational components that we have at the Institute. So this topic is super important for BTI, and it's super important for where biological sciences are headed in the future. So with that, I'm going to get on to introducing Faye. And I think related to what I just talked about, it was interesting when Faye first came to BTI. I had the pleasure to work with him on some tomato genomics work. He and I are co-authors on several papers from when he first came to the Institute. But it was kind of interesting, and maybe he'd agree with me or not, but I saw Faye really evolve from a very computational person into someone who really understood the biology, eventually the biology behind the work that he was doing. And that's really kind of the trick for everybody who's working together in this field, right, is to understand not only the computational stuff, but also the biological side of things. So it's really an exciting sort of field to work in. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Faye. So Faye is make sure I get everything here. Faye is a professor here at BTI. He got his PhD. First let me say, he went to China Agricultural University in the Department of Horticulture, is where he did his undergraduate and his master's work. And then in 2003, he got a PhD at Texas A&M University, where he was in Jim Giovannoni's lab at the time. And then he came to BTI in 2003 and did a short postdoctoral stint in Jim's lab for about 8 months. And then he moved on to a senior research associate position at the Virginia Bioinformatics Institute. And then, lucky for us, in 2006, he came back to BTI as an assistant professor. And then just recently, then he became an associate in 2012, and then in 2019 he became a full professor at BTI. He's got a large number of honors and awards for a fairly young scientist. He's also got 225 publications on his list. It's probably more than that. That's the CV that I recently got. He has so many papers that come out that he probably has to update his CV daily, or at least weekly. Anyway, so with that, I'm just going to go ahead. He's going to talk to us about the pangenome. I just wanted to mention a couple of things here. He's going to go into this in much more detail. But this is a project, part of this project, they sequence 725 cultivated and wild varieties of tomato. It's pretty amazing when you think about, sequencing that many different varieties. When we used to spend, months or even years, sequencing a single variety not that long ago. And as part of this project, and again, he'll get into this in detail, but they found 4,873 new genes came out of that project. It's pretty amazing, including one that's very important for flavor in tomatoes. So finally, they're starting to look at not just what builds a tomato plant, but also what it tastes like. And so with that said, I'll go ahead and turn things over to Faye.